What is up? Coming to you live from the Cat House in Montebello, California. It's time for another episode of Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. It's the Monday edition. It's the June 8th edition. It's the Black Lives Still Matter, FYI, in case you were wondering. Apparently, let's just lead off the show with this. I knew I was going to experience some resistance because, I post this show all over Facebook. And amazingly, only one of the Facebook nerd groups that I post this on, well, as far as I'm aware of, I didn't exactly go in depth to check if my podcast had been erased from any other nerd groups. But one group reached out to me and told me they erased it because they don't allow political talk. When I literally said, this is not a political issue. It's not political. It's a freaking human issue. But you know what? Their loss. I guess I don't need to be posting on their Facebook group anymore. Don't need any of their. So, yeah, we're still going to be talking about it this week because, honestly, I saw this great post. It was shared I think it's been shared all over social media. This great post. It is going to be very. I know last week I said, no geek, only philosophy. No, today it will be very geek philosophy, but it's going to be focused on how geeks are reacting to Black Lives Matter. How geeks are reacting to the social injustice, the racial injustice that's going on. And one thing in particular, there's this post that I've seen shared around on Facebook, on social media, where someone, I don't know, he said he got it from another forum. Like a Star Trek forum, and he copied and pasted it on Facebook, and it got shared 25,000 times. It's detailing how a lot of these nerd, how can I put, institutions have always been about social justice. Because, as you can expect, a lot of companies in the last week or the last 2 weeks have come out in support of the movement, in support of black people, in support of fairness and equality and fighting against injustice, fighting against fascism. And a lot of nerds like, how dare you Marvel, how dare you Disney, how dare you all these companies bring politics into this. It's not politics. And it's really amazing because a lot of these nerds, I guess they don't see the signs in what they read and what they watch or what they play. Because, a lot of this stuff, I'm going to go down the list that this gentleman posted up online. It's very fascinating. I feel like it was obvious to me. I think the number one that they posted up is that the X-Men and secondly, the Black Panther in Marvel Comics, those books from Jump Street, from day one, have been about civil rights. I don't know how people can't see that. How that Stan Lee's big goal with that book was to show inequality, to show how people treat them because they are different. How throughout the book, the history of the book, the people who are feared and hated, the X-Men, the mutants. Well, I presume that the mutants, that was Stan Lee saying, look, this is how we're treating other races. This is how we treat black people. Look what we do. These people who are trying, who help us, who are trying to be equal to us, and we treat them like crap. And then the more heavy-handed Black Panther is like, oh, look, it's a black superhero, but yet everyone, oh, no, watch out for the Black Panther. He's black. Stan, for whatever faults, he had of being, crazy man, his heart has always been in the right place. As far as this is concerned, it's just, it's insane that how people just don't understand, like, the all this pop culture they've been consuming for their lives, and they think, it's like, oh no, they shouldn't be mixing this in. It's always been there. Captain America, that's the next one on the list. Captain America has literally fought Nazis. He has fought against fascism. He's fought against all this stuff. The entire existence of Captain America. Bless you, young man. I got Tiger over here on my right, on your left, as you're watching this. Cap has always fought against Nazis. He fought against inequalities. How did nerds not understand this? And Scott, like you said, gamers are getting mad that all the announcements, because this week would have been the Electronic Entertainment Expo. This would have been E3. We would have been getting a whole lot of announcements, and technically we were supposed to get a bunch of announcements from Sony last week, but in good taste, a lot of these companies delayed their announcements. Like Sony delayed their announcements. They were going to do a big announcement last Thursday. They decided to postpone it to this Thursday. In light of all the protests, they didn't want to, it'd be in poor form. It'd be bad form if they just jumped in and just said, hey, we're going to announce things and pretend that there's nothing happening in the world. And gamers were getting mad, like, oh, how dare you? Even Activision, I have lambasted Activision. They were putting support for Black Lives Matter in Call of Duty, and it's pissing off gamers. And I'm like, wait, Call of Duty, this is a war game where you've been traditionally have fought against Nazis and bad guys. And you don't understand, it's nuts. Yeah, it's insane. These Call of Duty players are like, oh, don't be bringing that in. I'm like, you're literally playing a war game that is based off, like, the one of the more successful ones is all about fighting Nazis in World War II. I mean, the cognitive dissonance that how they get to consume all of this and not see. Usually in your video, if you're fighting against art, here's one of the bigger ones that really surprised me, the ignorance of people. Star Wars. There's a lot of Star Wars fans getting mad about, oh no, don't bring this into my... the Empire. That's fascism. The Empire. Fascist. You not see white, not soldiers. Yeah, stormtroopers clad in white. Evil. Like, my boss at work, he had a suggestion for me for your next podcast. You should just dress up as Darth Vader, just do all of whatever Trump would say, but as Darth Vader. Maybe people will get it then. People will understand, or put it all in context of Star Wars. Like, we will deploy more stormtroopers if the rebels continue to persist with their protests against dark fascism. Like that was Bob's idea. I don't know if I could commit to an entire hour of me being Darth Vader and transposing all the terribleness. Yeah, and of course, yeah, Star Wars, yeah, only black person allowed in space. I know. But still, it was still about fighting oppression. Like the rebels were fighting against fascism. The Galactic Empire was trying to oppress everyone. And the rebels were fighting against it. With only one black guy, I guess. I know. Insane. Yeah, I mean, Scott right here is, yeah, like, Trump is actually using the Nazi handbook. Yeah, no, literally, if you go and research it, yeah, he is doing the playbook, play-by-play, of how to turn a country into a fascist, tyrannical empire. He's doing his best, or his handlers, the people who control the strings are doing their best to try to convert that. But so I'm going down this list here. The Punisher. We've seen a lot of cops have the Punisher's logo on their gear, and then literally the Punisher has been he's not he does bad things, but he doesn't support police doing bad things. There's literally an issue recently. I saw there were some panels where, like, the Punisher, like, walks, he sees these cops, like, yeah, we like what you do, Punisher, we got your logo. And then the Punisher rips off the Punisher logo off their gear, and he goes, if you want a role model, go find Captain America. I'm not a role model. I'm not something you should aspire to be. Like, the Punisher, he dirties his hands to get rid of bad guys, but that's it, because he works outside the law. He knows he's an outlaw. He knows he's breaking the rules. He's not it's not intended to inspire people who should not break the rules. It's crazy. Going on, Deadpool, because it is Pride Month. In case you don't know, and it is Pride Month. Deadpool is pansexual. Deadpool loves everyone. Deadpool will love everything. And a lot of people think, oh, Deadpool's so awesome. Look, he kills so many dudes. I think the knowledge that Deadpool is, pansexual, he's queer, would crush a lot of these people who hate They'd be like, what? No way, Deadpool's too cool. There's no way he'd be like that. It's there. It's in the mythology. It's been there. Sorry. Sorry, hateful people. Sorry about that. I'm sorry to burst your little bubble. But yeah, let's see. Next down the line. Star Trek. Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry, that was his idealistic vision of what society should be. Equality. And I know, Lamar, you're probably going to chime in. Only one black person. That was until Next Generation. And it's true. All the Klingons were played by black people back in the original series. But, man, you know what? They're fighting against the system. You know, it has been systemic. I'm sure NBC was like, oh, no, can't have too many black people on here. But now, the Next Generation, we had Geordi LaForge. I idolized Geordi LaForge because I was a nerd. And I was like, he's the engineering nerd. He wore his visor. I wore glasses. Geordi was my hero. Star Trek is about equality. Star Trek is about this. They've transcended the issues of society. I think that's what Gene Roddenberry was trying to show. It's like, oh, look at all these problems that we have. And look, like, hopefully in the future, hopefully thousands of years in the future, we have transcended these problems and no longer treat each other like crap when they treat the other aliens like crap. I haven't watched the new Picard series yet, but apparently there's some crazy stuff in there. But still, at its core, Star Trek is about equality at the end of the day. Well, let's see. Superman. Hey, Kiet fam! Recovered from COVID-19. Welcome back, Kiet. We're so happy that you're feeling better, that you've recovered from your fight with the pandemic that people are apparently ignoring. That's right, Tiger. People are ignoring the pandemic. I saw at least half the people out when I was out running some errands, not wearing masks. I was wearing my mask. That's another issue. Maybe for next week when we start seeing the numbers climb back up. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Superman. Superman's the ultimate immigrant. He's an immigrant. He's not of this earth. Raised on this planet. Fortunately, like, what? There are some people popping some fireworks off here in neighboring Montebello / East Los. I don't know what's going on, buddy. I don't know. I know you don't like the fireworks, little man. Loud noises! Look at him. He is kicking. He's got the super kick party going on. Superman is an immigrant. What are those explosions, Ray? That's my people are wilding out. People like it's people are wilding out here in my hood. People just always wilding out. I literally when I came home last week, I just saw people literally lighting up friggin' fireworks in the street. Yeah, Montebello Mexicans got the fireworks hook up. Yeah, they do. They just it ain't even July 4th yet. It's like this from June through August. They don't wait till the 4th. They just pop off. Our poor cats are just tormented for the next 3 months because these people are like, oh, got my fireworks, let's pop them off. And Montebello PD clearly doesn't care. They don't go out and try to find them. They let it go. But well, Superman, true justice in the American way. Immigrant, not of this earth. All those aliens, Kryptonians, my boy the Martian Manhunter, immigrants. Stanley, because that's where this person on their little list rounded off. Stanley has always fought racism. He's fought exclusionism. Honestly, I don't know how many black people he actually hired, but still, he was trying to use his platform to point it out. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. It's not black or white. It's not perfect. I know that's where something that we struggle with as a society nowadays. If someone isn't perfect in every single category, to check off every single box, then they're canceled. Stanley can be questionable sometimes, but his heart was in the right place. He was fighting against it. And it comes to the conclusion, like, geek culture, all this stuff that's been created by... all this stuff has been created by immigrants, by minorities, by It's always, people say, oh, suddenly comics have become very social justice. Oh, it's like, oh, because we have a black Spider-Man and a forget and a what was it, a female Thor and all that stuff. Oh, so comics have suddenly become, no, it's always been in its roots. It's always been about good overcoming evil. I don't understand how people can't consume the same stuff. Like, I always attribute my insane need for quote unquote justice or doing the right thing because of all the comic books and all the cartoons that I consumed as a child. Give me the foundation, like, we should be doing the right thing, the right thing. We should take care. We got to be good guys because there's too many of the bad ones. These books have always been, these movies, it's always been about inclusion. And apparently, a segment of people who follow this stuff, who are like, they've been, I'm a lifelong fan. I can't believe they're changing everything. It's always been about inclusion. It's just they're being a lot more aggressive about it lately. They're being a lot more comfortable because you know what? The world is changing. The world has changed. Writers have very liberal thoughts. Who knew, right? Oh my God. Intelligent writers who have intelligent discourse. Oh, what? They have liberal views. Oh my God. I mean, yeah, you got your Ethan Van Skyvers who are secret or not so secret Nazis, and you have your Orson Scott Cards who are like crazy people. But most of these guys working on these books, they've always been lefties. Oh, ooh, scary. Oh my God. How dare these people who peddle this popular culture to me try to tell me what's good and what's bad. Like, that's literally the basis for a lot of this stuff. It's insane. It's really funny to me when especially when it was like just spelled out like that in this post. Because I like I said, go anywhere on social media now. That's all you're gonna see. I mean, people like shows with Game of Thrones because sometimes seem simpler, right? It seems simpler and cut and dry. You know who the bad guys are and who the good guys are. No, it's funny. My wife and I had this discussion because we found this channel on our digital tabs, like Me TV, and it is showing all these old ass shows like Andy Griffith and MASH and all this stuff. It's like, oh, it was really wholesome television that was going on. It's like super wholesome at the same time when the Vietnam War was going on and all this other bad stuff was happening. And when you turn on the television to feel good about yourself. And I guess these people, like, they go to their media now. It's like, hey, this is supposed to make me feel better about my position. Like, wait, what's all these minorities doing? What the hell? What's this inclusion and equality? I don't like that. It's just, MASH, don't get me wrong. I love me some MASH. I grew up watching MASH on Fox 11 here in Los Angeles, California. It's just wild to me when I sit and see all this stuff and I think about it. How these people just, how many people can just look at the world and does not get it? They're like, oh, everything seems fine to me, like, because. Yeah, I'm going to say right. Kia Fam right here says we like living in the shortness world. Regardless of your world, you're going to offend someone. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, apparently, last week's episode, as far as SoundCloud listeners go, apparently I offended a lot of people because I think we have an all-time low in SoundCloud listens. I guess putting Black Lives Matter in the title of my podcast meant people didn't want to listen to it. But conversely, here on Facebook, I think that's probably last week's episode is the most watched episode I think we've done. Almost all time. I think maybe only one other episode exceeded that, but probably our highest viewed episode. I'm glad because it had such a positive message last week of trying to like make people understand. And if I get banned from a bunch of Facebook groups, oh well, sucks for them. I mean, that's what. Like I said, I've never tried to be political here, but this is not political. This is human life. This is insane what's going on right now. It's great because earlier today I had sent my gaming buddies a tweet. I guess the Twitter account for Bloodborne. I guess they were noticing a lot of people were mad because, you know, the developers or whoever, or I guess the brand manager, whoever runs the Twitter account for Bloodborne, I guess they were tweeting out support for Black Lives Matters, and people were unfollowing it. So I guess whoever runs this Twitter account was like, oh, we've seen that a lot of people are unfollowing. Yeah, fuck off. People matter. Black people matter. You can leave now. Yeah, thanks. I saw with Seth Rogen. He was tweeting out a lot of support, and people were like, "Oh man, I'm never gonna watch your movie." And he's like, "Fuck off. Good. Don't ever." And I was like, "All right." And thank you for chiming in. Yeah. It doesn't matter level of intelligence. Place people are looking for confirmation by. Yeah, people are looking for confirmation on their own thoughts rather than evidence that will challenge them. That's why we have so many fucking flat earthers. It's terrifying. Like that. I don't know if I said it last week. We live in this world. We live in an age where we have information at the tip of our fingers, but yet it feels like everyone's so damn ignorant. You could show them a piece of evidence and they will ignore it because they saw a YouTuber tell them what they wanted to hear. I like to have my views challenged. Honestly, I joke, oh, I'm getting older. It's harder for me to learn stuff. I still need to learn. I'm always constantly wanting to get better. I want to learn. I always want to continue to progress. Because if you're not progressing, you're not trying. If you're not trying to get better, then what are you doing? And I feel there's a lot of people who don't. Yeah, kid, you were stuck in a hospital bed. I'm sure you've had a lot of time to meditate on a lot of this stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird from my perspective. There's times like, oh, cool, I want to do some videos of other stuff. Like I don't feel comfortable doing like some gaming video or doing some like other video in this. No, because I feel like that's like counterproductive. I feel it's counter for me not to talk about what the hell's going on. It's insane. Yeah, progress is bad. A lot. Get this assault on intelligence. It's that Mike Judge movie, Idiocracy. It has come way too early. It should be 500 years from now that we would be living in an idiocracy. But apparently, it's happening now. We live in an idiocracy. We have a reality star, but instead of Hector Elizondo Camacho, UFC champion, as the president, we have Orange Cheeto Hitler doing his thing, where he's threatening the NFL. That was a pretty piece of business where the commissioner of the National Football League came out during this past week in between episodes and said, oh, you know what? Maybe we were wrong for condemning Colin Kaepernick. Good talk, Scott. Maybe we were wrong for condemning him. Really? Suddenly, you see all these protests and you go, oh, maybe we misinterpreted his protest. This is literally what the NFL is saying. Right now they're trying to come out on the good side. It's wild. Like they didn't want to piss off Trump because Trump was attacking Kaepernick, so the NFL sided with the money, and they quietly just shadow banned Kaepernick from playing football. He wasn't allowed to play football. Oh no, he disrespected the flag. How dare you? And it was never about disrespecting the flag. It was about pointing out what the fuck is wrong right now. There's a lot of shit that's wrong. And we're shining a light on it, and people don't want to see what's wrong. People want to go back to normal. Just like this pandemic right now. People are starting to pretend there isn't a pandemic, and they're trying, oh, we just want to be normal. Just leave everything alone. No. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. In my little world, everything's fine. I want to be able to go to a restaurant. I want to be able to do all the old things I used to do. No. Shit is fucked up on multiple fronts. People are dying. for multiple stupid reasons. Honestly, right. The poet Kit Fam. I'm going to read this in case you guys don't see this in the comments. The argument is a lost form in the world. It's sad where it's supposed to challenge ideas in hopes of trying to find understanding. Now, argument has gone into the guise to yell as loud as you can about your view, ignoring the rest of the world, and just leaving angrier than when you started. No one can discuss things anymore. That's what I was saying a little bit of that earlier. He reached out. He waved to me. Like I was saying earlier, people, it's very black or white right now. It's like, no, it's either you're 100% with us or you are completely against us. There's no discussion. There's no trying to find common ground, but there's no accepting. It's not, it's not even the common ground thing. People cannot accept when they're wrong. They can't. There's no personal responsibility of like, oh, I had some bad information. It's shown to be wrong, but no, I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong. That's not possible. All these other YouTubers say that I'm right. So, you're wrong, snowflake cuck. No. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And, see, yeah, thank you, Kia. And Kia says, if I ever hear someone say COVID is fake, I'm just going to punch them in the face. Yeah, your description of, like, the ass kicking that you took from COVID-19, it's just like, no, it's like, now anytime the UPS guy at our warehouse he was like passively saying last week, he's like, oh, I don't know if this stuff is real because look at everything going back to normal. And I'm like, fuck you, man. One of my homeboys is in the hospital right now because of it. And he has never come off to me as a person who is a hoax or a liar or a part of a government conspiracy. I'm quite certain it's real. There are people dying. People are getting fucked up. I imagine poor Kiet, I'm sure you have some damage. Like you're still recovering. You're better now. You've been allowed to rejoin the rest of the free world, but I'm sure you're still carrying some side effects or some after effects from that. Yeah. See, Mike. See right there. No one ever wants to blame themselves. Oh, I didn't do that. So, people playing Apex Legends. The point blame everywhere but themselves. It's true. It's true. Just look at the leadership. Look at what's been empowered from the very top. Yeah, James. Yeah, I keep hearing that. It's a hoax by Democrats to make sure Trump doesn't get reelected. That's what COVID-19 is. Yes, right. The rest of the world is just playing along with this Democratic hoax in the election in our country. The rest of the free world is thousands of people are dying around the world, but it's all a hoax. It's all just a play, just because a political party in one nation. See, Kiet Fam, yeah, see right there. He lost 15 pounds for not being able to eat for 5 days. Jeez. See, look at that. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's just idiocracy and stupidity. It's like, it's great because you see some of these idiots starting to realize that they backed the wrong horse, especially in light of everything that's happening. One of the craziest things I've seen on Twitter is apparently Minneapolis is they're gonna start the steps towards they're gonna get rid of their police department in Minneapolis, which naturally is bringing out the ire of everyone, because the liberals like myself are like, all right, good, and then all the conservatives are like, oh well, I guess crime is just gonna go rampant in that city. But if you stop and you look at the facts, apparently the Minneapolis Police Department has done a terrible job of doing anything positive for the community. All they've really been doing is collecting the tax revenue of the good citizens of Minneapolis, and just their case they solve only 20% of their cases. 20%. 2 out of every 10 cases have a resolution. The other 8, like, sorry. They misplaced thousands of rape kits because, sorry, we didn't check them. Sorry. Can't be bothered to look. Can't be bothered to do our job. Sorry. Just the cop who has who did the initial killing of George Floyd. He has been suspended. Apparently, his police unions are very strong in Minneapolis. So I guess the city of Minneapolis is just going to circumvent that by just getting rid of the police. But we'll see how that works out. Obviously, our Kiet is describing some more about his COVID-19 experience. Kiet had 3 different IVs of medication inside of him. They give him sleep medication and then draw blood an hour later. Maybe 8 hours of sleep over those 5 days. Oh. That sounds like a shit experience. That sounds horrible. Jesus, Kiet. I'm sorry that you had to freaking go through that, my man. See, it's fucking real. And it's driving me crazy that people are like not taking it seriously anymore. It's like, people are like, nope, everything's reopening. I don't know if all the governments have been like, all the state governments have been like bullied by the titans of industry. It's like, we need to get everything back up and running. We've lost billions. We need the poor to die so we can keep operating and at a profit. Honestly, this is why I usually don't try to get into this kind of stuff, because I get very angry about this stuff. I have very strong feelings. It's like I saw a Facebook post. I check my Facebook memories every day because I'm a crazy person. And I guess something political was happening a few years ago where I put down, like, I don't discuss politics on social media because I studied politics for college. I studied politics from 1999 to 2003. You know, during the 2000 presidential election. That was very contentious in the first few years of George W. Bush. Let's open at the cost of early, but all lives matter. Yeah, the walking contradictions. Like, if you go on Twitter, you see all the contradictory statements by people. You'll see, and apparently it seems to be a bunch of bots that do this. I guess there's just bots. There's bots that like just tweet the opposite of whatever the agenda is. Yeah, they gave into the peaceful protest where people, like, you guys hear, they're just declaring Mexican war over here. That's just what my people do. When as soon as like June 1st hits, it's like, let's just fire off fireworks. Who cares about people with babies and cats? Who cares? I got these fireworks from TJ, and I'm going to blow the sky up.
They probably have babies and cats.
See, right, like Daniel Wong said. They gave into the peaceful protests, the people with the guns, spitting on the cops, ironically, during the pandemic. Yeah, there were several, I'm sure Minneapolis has several bad track. They have a terrible track record. And you know, something else I noticed, that there was another woman's name, Breonna Taylor, I believe, is her name. God, if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm sure Kiet can correct me on that. The woman who, she died during all this as well. She was another friggin' innocent person who died because apparently I'm unfamiliar with which city it was, but they just burst into her apartment without any identification. They were undercover. Burst into the apartment. Her boyfriend thought they were being robbed. He pulled out his legal gun and fired at them. And they shot his girlfriend up 22 times? A little excessive? She died. And it turned out that they were in the wrong house. And the person they were looking for was already apprehended. What the fuck? And apparently, up until last week, it was not being investigated until people started really freaking raising a storm as a part of the protests. Like, hey, it's not just about George Floyd; it's about every marginalized person. Breonna Taylor, thank you. Yeah, Breonna Taylor. I hope I get the name right. And yeah, it's like this shit has been happening nonstop forever. As long as there's been black people in America, they've been marginalized and shat on. And it's fucking unfair. Fucking sucks. Honestly, I need Jai here. I need Jai's voice. Because he can speak to truth to power more than I can. Lamar can speak truth to power. D-Lo can speak truth to power to this. I'm only I'm a brown person who's watched things happen, but I'm the one who shows up here every Monday and does a show. I'm trying to do my best Trevor Noah impression or John Oliver impression here. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, kid. See, we missed having you here as our corrections or retractions department. This shit it's been going on. It's just now we're forcing. Yeah, I'm an ally. Yeah, thank you. We're forcing these people to be held accountable, and it's literally by force. You have to. I saw a great meme a little bit before I jumped on. I forgot who shared the meme. I wish I could give that. I believe it was Mikhail Matsuno who shared this meme on Facebook, and they showed it was a scene from A Bug's Life where Hopper was like, "There's 100 of them to us. You can't let any one of them stand up because they're going to realize there's more of them than us, and then everything will be doomed." It's in our media. I need anger translator. Like Key and Peele. But yeah, I need Jai here to be my anger translator. So he can say the things that I can't say. But yeah, that I don't there's nerd shit that's been happening, but I don't feel good talking about it. I know in the past, this show is supposed to be a distraction from the real world, but you know what? The real world is knocking. Yeah, watch 13th on Netflix about the 13th Amendment loophole. Oh. I don't know what else to say. Support your friends. Support your fellow humans. Be an ally. Don't stand idly by. Don't be quiet. I have my platform. I'm using my voice. That's how I'm doing it. There's no wrong way. I'm sure there's plenty of wrong ways to do it, but trying, being positive, and trying to help your fellow humans. How many racists are? Yeah, there's a lot of passive racism. I think that's the sad part. The people who show us that they're racists, they're kind of doing us a favor and letting us know, all right, fuck those people. But it's kind of like the passive people who just lay in the grass, who don't say anything or do anything. I think sometimes I'm more concerned about those, the people who quietly voted a horrible human being into the presidency, the people who quietly and shamefully didn't tell their exit pollster who they actually voted for. They said they voted for Hillary, but quietly went into the booth and voted for supremacy. This is some sobering shit. I can't come on and be happy-go-lucky Dre when all this shit's going on. It's terrible. No plugs, no ads. That's been this week's show. We'll be back on next week. We'll see if I feel like doing a regular show next week, or we're just going to continue discussing this. Thank you guys for jumping on. I got to go help my wife take care of our wonderful little boy. We'll see you guys next week. All right? Peace. Oh, before I go, yeah, right there, Kia fam. The fact that there's a George flag. I know I'm 30 seconds behind here. Yeah, the people who, that's just, there's stuff that makes you lose hope. But you know, we have to fight against that. We have to fight against that kind of stuff. We have to point out how wrong that is. We have to be strong in the face of this idiocracy that we're up against. We're only stronger together. We can't let them divide. All of us try to try to divide. Try to divide all the minorities. Mexicans against blacks, Asians against the whites. No, to try to get us against each other. When it should be, we again remember, there's more of us than there are of them. All right, we'll see you guys next week. All right, peace.